Kia ora and welcome to our first inflation lesson today. So, inflation lesson 1, you're with Mr. Pietkiewicz or BroSir and the world famous economist, Mr. Teddy, going for the Nobel Peace Prize. So make sure you vote for him, please. Today's lesson, we are going to be looking at understanding inflation, disinflation and deflation. And we're also going to be looking at understanding the Consumer Price Index, also known as the CPI. What we have here is a picture of inflation with petrol prices. Okay, so the price of petrol, look at that, boom, it's going up. There we go. Let's get ready to rock and roll. So what is inflation? Well, we've got a percentage here, a dollar sign here, and somebody who doesn't look too happy over here. So maybe that might give you some general idea of what inflation is all about. Well, we're about to find out. Inflation. Here is the legit definition. Inflation is an increase in the general level of prices of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. Okay, that's some key words there for you to remember. Inflation, increase, general level of prices of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. And here's our example of our petrol prices. Okay, beautiful. Let's rock and roll. Now, is inflation good or bad? I found this photo here on Flickr. Inflation celebration. Who would actually go to a celebration for inflation? I don't know, but only in America, surely. Now, with inflation, what's going to happen is there's going to be a decrease in our purchasing power. So what that essentially means is that now the prices have gone up. That means that our income hasn't gone up as well, has it? Okay, so let's just assume that our income has stayed the same. That means that we don't have the purchasing power that we had before. So essentially what's happening is that prices are going up, but our income is not matching it. Okay, so we cannot purchase the same amount of goods and services as we could before. Okay, key words there, purchasing power. And our money's on fire. Pretty scary stuff. So here's a history of inflation in New Zealand. Look at that, 1988, it's at 19%. That is just ridiculous, I believe, you know. How could it get to that certain point in time? You know, how could it get to that percent in New Zealand? It's quite shocking. And if you look down here in 2010, it's only at 4%. So I think in this range here, I think the main reason for that could have been the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. You'll find out about how the Reserve Bank affects inflation as the lessons progress. Okay, next slide. So what is disinflation? Disinflation is a decrease in the rate of inflation. It's a slowdown in the rate of increase of the general price level of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. So essentially it is still inflation, but it's a decrease in the rate of inflation. So last year inflation could have been 5%, this year it's 3%. That's called disinflation. Fantastic. Let's move on. So what is deflation? So deflation is a decrease, okay? It's a decrease and the general level of prices of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. So it's a decrease, okay? Inflation was an increase, deflation is a decrease. So we have our big giant tomato here. We can think of that as inflation, we can think of these two as disinflation, and this odd looking tomato here can be deflation. Do not eat these. Trust me, do not eat them. Teddy, you still there? Okay, he's a bit tired. Doesn't want to say much. Consumer Price Index, the CPI. It's a measure of inflation, okay? So the CPI measures changes in the price level of consumer goods and services purchased by households. Okay, so it measures the changes in the price level. It is measured using a weighted index, which is derived from a basket of goods that represent an average household spending pattern. Okay, so essentially the people who work for, or the people who make the CPI, okay, they go to roughly 15 locations in New Zealand, the same basket of goods that represent an average household spending pattern, and then they weight it on this index. Okay, so the CPI is therefore an index used to measure inflation. Alrighty, the CPI measures price changes for all of these goods and services. Okay, so food, housing, tobacco, alcohol, household operation, okay, apparel, education. Alrighty. So the food group is the only commodity group of the CPI for which an index is prepared each month. Reason being, well, potentially the food group could be seen as one of our main necessities of life. Okay, so the Reserve Bank wants to make sure that the prices are relatively stable. Okay, so the food group prepared each month. And here's some of my favorite foods. Ice cream. Oh, I want some ice cream, but it's not in the freezer. Failed. Strawberry dipped in chocolate. That's winning right there. And veggies, because I'm a veggie. Rock and roll. So, how to calculate our consumer price index? Okay. So, essentially, is we want to calculate the rate of inflation. So, what we have here is a formula. So, it's a change in index numbers over the original index number times 100. Yes, I'm overly enthusiastic. Thank you for noticing. I love economics. Okay, year 1, 1,000. We've got no previous years to assess this data with, so it's just NA all the way up. But year 2, however, 1025 is our consumer price index. Okay, we want to see the change. So the change 1025 minus 1,000, that equals 25. So 25 over 1,000 times 100 equals 2.5%. Legend. Okay, this is called inflation. Now this 1,000, remember, is the original index number, which comes from here. Okay, inflation. Next one, year 3, 1030 minus 1025 equals 5. Okay, so slightly less than the 25 here. So 5 over 1025, remember it's the original index number, so it's coming from here, times 100 equals 0.48%. Now that is disinflation. Okay, the 0.48% is less than the 2.5% here. Beautiful. Year 4, 1020. Okay, 1020 minus 1030. Okay, it's negative 10. So we actually got our consumer price index has decreased for year 4. If we do that divided by 1030 and we times that by 100, we get negative 0.97%. Now that is called deflation. Okay, deflation. It's a negative. Beautiful. And remember, deflation is a decrease in the general level of prices. Well, I think we're almost there for our first lesson on inflation. Well done for surviving it so far. Now, if all these calculations were pretty fast for you, just remember, hit the rewind button, pause it. Okay, take your time. Beautiful. Now, here are some useful government resources for you. We have the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, rbnz.gov.nz. We have Statistics New Zealand, okay? Statistics New Zealand, stats.gov.nz. The Treasury, treasury.gov.nz. And we can also email Mr. John Key, okay? john.key@national.org.nz. Good luck getting a reply though. You know, you can be quite busy, okay? Beautiful. Now, if you are still unsure about this, please Facebook me. Okay, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. My Twitter is BroSirNZ. And if you're not in my class, I can be found at facebook.com/BroSir. And also please do the online quiz in the video. Okay, it's going to be a quiz about inflation, the consumer price index, and the effects of inflation. Okay, inflation lesson 2 is going to cover the effects of inflation, so stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to leave you on our traditional famous economists. Okay, so here's a quote from Benjamin Graham. Wall Street people learn nothing and forget everything. That is LOL to the extreme. Okay, so Benjamin Graham, he's passed away now unfortunately. British-born American economist. The first proponent of value investing. Google that for a bit of awesomeness. Look at that smile. Okay, it's an investment approach he began teaching at Columbia Business School in 1928. A long time ago, before I was born, of course. I hope so. Warren Buffett. Hopefully you all know who Warren Buffett is. Pretty famous guy, rich. He's very smart man. Okay, he credits Benjamin Graham as grounding him with a sound intellectual investment framework. Okay, he described Benjamin as the second most influential person in his life after his own father. That is just incredible. So Google Warren Buffett, Google Benjamin Graham, you will be amazed. Thank you for tuning in to Inflation Lesson 1. Teddy is he can't say goodbye just yet. He's tired. He's going to bed. And make sure to Facebook me, facebook.com/BroSir, Twitter, BroSirNZ. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be enlightening you with YouTube videos throughout the whole year. I'm going to stay up late, I don't mind. It's my commitment to you. Economics is amazing. Okay, you're going to empower yourself. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. Peace out. Subscribe. Cheer.